Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Heroes of the Storm, and today we're going to play Rehgar in a more offensive type of build. So, because of this, we're going to use the new artifact system to modify ourselves just a little bit. So instead of ability damage and healing, what I'm going to basically be doing is increasing my basic attack damage with the Primal Ruby. This is because everything I do for my build is going to be enhancing my basic attack damage. I'm also going to want basic attacks restore health. Since my basic attacks are going to be doing more and more damage, I'm going to get more and more health and keep myself alive. I also don't really have to worry about my maximum mana. I will be casting a bit, but I'm not going to be focusing on the healing as much. So rather than having maximum mana, what I really want is Wurt's Leg for increased movement speed. And part of this is because Rehgar doesn't mount up. He has his Ghost Wolf form. And so far, the consensus is that Ghost Wolf is modified by base movement speed. So Wurt's Leg should increase not only my normal movement speed, but my mounted movement speed. Granted, it's not as much as someone that gets a riding prop and actually mounts up, but it means that I will be able to get away a lot more easily when I have Wurt's Leg. So that's going to be the build we go for with artifacts. Keep in mind, these may or may not be there at final release. Talent-wise, we're going to go for Lightning Shield increases basic attack damage. 25% additional damage for 3 basic attacks is quite a bit, and that can be spammed quite often. Beyond that, we're going to go into focused attack. So the first hit I get in a sequence is going to be increased by 50%. And so the idea is to basically go in as Ghost Wolf, do a bunch of damage, and then possibly pop out. I can probably do some sustained damage because of my Lightning Shield and my Chain Healing, so I can go toe-to-toe with some heroes. So we'll have to see how the match progresses to find out whether or not the hit and run or the sustained damage will be the best way to go. Rehgar is still somewhat squishy, so that's something we're going to have to keep in mind. But because of that, we can go with Lightning Shield gives us a shield, and that will help us stay alive a little bit longer. But because I've already used that, and because I really want to go for kind of that initial set of hits to do a lot of damage, I'm going to go with Searing Attacks this time. This is not a build I normally use, but I really want to try and push the damage output for this video as much as possible to see if it's going to be viable. That's pretty much the whole point of this. This is really not about finding the most viable build, but about experimenting and seeing what can we do if we hyper-focus. We're hyper-focusing on damage this time, so we're going to go with Bloodlust. And then we're going to go with Ghost Wolf, basic attack damage bonus. So we're increasing it from a double to a triple bonus when we use the Ghost Wolf. Not only that, but we get the Feral Lunge, which allows us to jump in real fast. So enemies are going to have a hard time getting away. It'll almost be like a Zeratul chasing you with his blink. Now for this rank. This is a tough one. Three things are actually very useful here. Berserk is obviously very useful because it's like a little bloodlust, personal bloodlust. But if we're going to go for burst damage instead of sustained damage, we're going to want blood for blood, because that's 15% of an enemy's maximum health and a slow, and it gives me back some of that health. And as I showed in the demonstration with his abilities, you could take down a third of an enemy's health real quickly with blood for blood. Of course, Berserk would synergize a little bit better with Searing Attacks, because we're getting 50% for 5 seconds. So combine Berserk with Bloodlust with Searing Attacks, and I'm thinking we're looking at a pretty winning combination. Now let me see, this one lasts for 4 seconds, whereas Searing Attack lasts for 5, and of course Bloodlust lasts for 10. So the order of preference would be Bloodlust into Searing Attacks into Berserk. And so we'll try that. So I'll think about what I'm going to do in the match, I think, before going for one of those. Now, alternatively, I usually like to do Lightning Bond, because Lightning Bond will give damage to an ally as well as damage to myself. So if I were going for more sustained damage, that could be useful as well. If I'm laning with, say, a Sergeant Hammer, and I know the next 3 basic attacks I'm about to put out are going to give me additional damage, I could put it on Hammer, which Sergeant Hammer is going to do some extra damage as well for 3 basic attacks. And that can be very useful. This one is a very difficult tier. All the others, you kind of got some fairly obvious choices depending upon how you want to build. This one honestly has a lot of good choices either way. I mean, you can see there's a lot of good damage that could be used here. At rank 20, we'll go ahead and get the Gladiator's War Shout, which will affect all heroes, minions, and mercenaries. Of course, again, the minions and mercenaries part, I do believe, is at this point broken. I could go with Fury of the Storm. Quite honestly, if my team has been grouping up very well, I will probably go for Fury of the Storm instead, because the mercs and all that, I do believe, are not affected by Gladiator's War Shout at this time. So, that being the case, I will more than likely go Fury of the Storm if my team is grouping up well for Bloodlust. So we'll look into that in the match. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the latest map to be added to Heroes of the Storm, the Garden of Terror. This is something of a combination of the Dragon Knight in Dragonshire and the Golems in the Dead Mines. I say Dead Mines, but the Haunted Mines. There's going to be a day and night cycle. During the day, the game progresses like normally. We're going to lane, do damage back and forth. It's a 3-lane setup, and you can see there's a pretty extensive jungle here, actually. There's going to be multiple mercenary creeps in these jungles. Now, this is going to be interesting, because this match on my team, we have no tanks, and I'm going for a damage build, so this may not go well. This may not go well at all. We'll have to see.
4, 3, 2, 1. Understood.
Alright, now during the night cycle, a whole bunch of plants are going to spawn in which we collect seeds, kind of like the skulls in the Haunted Mines. Once you collect 100, you can activate a creep or a horror here at this plant, and you actually take control of it. So it's kind of like the golem, kind of not, and that the golem... There, get it. Have a heal.
Nice patch job.
The golem is automatic. You see there, I just gave Sergeant Hammer some basic attack damage because I knew that Tyrael was going to be in her range. So you have control over the horror rather than it being automatic. And the two things you can do with the horror is, of course, you have your basic attacks. But you have an AoE that basically cripples players. It turns them into a little plant, makes them do like 50% less damage.
I hope you're ready.
And then there's another larger AoE which puts down a potted plant, which disables buildings and does a lot of damage to them. Okay, quite a bit of damage to that Tyrael. Kind of trying to keep him back here.
It is time.
Alright, here's the night cycle. And there are little plants, and then there's big horrors that are like big golems. Now, the difference between the big horrors and the golems from the mines is that this guy is going to drop plants over time. So you don't have to kill him in order for him to drop all the skulls like you would on Haunted Mines. You just do a bit of damage to him, and then he's going to drop a bunch. So if your team is trying to steal some plants, you can. You can just wait for him to drop some, run in, grab a few. See, as you can see there, he's already dropped a few, so I'm just going to go ahead and gather them. Go into wolf form, do a bit of damage there. Uh-oh, get out, get out, get out. It's a shield on Raynor. There we go. And there you can see he drops a whole bunch of them. So we're going to go ahead and grab the ones over here. So we've got 100, and that's not going to activate until we actually go in and use it. And as you can see here, it looks like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors. Feed me, Seymour.
The dawn has come, heroes. And with
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go back, and I'm going to try and show this off, I think. Or Abathur's going to grab it. That's fine. You can at least see the horror. There it is. The plant's on its back. It's kind of like a giant golem. It's going to basically do a whole bunch of damage. It's more of a crowd control thing. It's very tanky. It doesn't really do a ton of damage itself. It's mainly used for buildings. Okay, the enemy Sergeant Hammer is over there. Let's get out of my Ghost Wolf form so I can get ready to do a blitz attack against the tank. Well, it looks like it's already back. And see, there's the plants. You can see the plants are wrapped around these buildings. It actually disables them temporarily. Alright. Alright, lightning shield. Hit that. Hit you. Now the thing about the giant plant that you can drop as the horror is that it can be destroyed by enemy fire. It is a targetable item. Alright, more healing. Come here, you. Wolf! Yes! Alright, go back, go back. Alright, we're gonna try it. Searing Attacks. So this lasts for what? What is the talent on that? 3 seconds? No, wait, 3 attacks. But it doesn't say the duration. I think it's gonna be for 5 seconds. Searing is 5 seconds as well, so I guess it doesn't matter. Order of precedence there. Alright, you can see the camps closest to the center will go towards the center. Alright. I'm just using up my combination now just to make sure we kill this camp quickly. Send them down towards the south. And I'm going to mount up and try and take this one over here. This camp will actually start going towards the second door. So even though I don't have this first camp taken out, I can start doing damage to their back row, which is something a lot of other maps really don't let you do most of the time. So since I'm doing this alone, let me get into position that will let me do more damage to both of these guys. Here we go. So, Searing Attacks, Wolf. Uh-oh. Getting out of there. Uh-oh. Tyrael's going to do some damage to me. Now, the good news is, even if he does, I should be able to get away. Because he can't knock me out of Ghost Wolf. So, unfortunately, they stopped me from getting that. Healing. Totem. Oh, hello, Sergeant Hammer. I better back up a bit. Bloodlust! Yes. Now they're in for it. Now, you do not have to turn them in right away. You can hold more than 100 of these seeds. Alright. Bloodlust activated.
Double kill.
And with Bloodlust, I'm going to do as much damage to Sergeant Hammer as I possibly can. Ah, Sergeant Hammer got away. I'm hurting though, so I don't want to stay here. Oh, Vala just took out Raynor and Hammer. That's painful. We gotta go back down here. You can hold more than 100 if you so desire. As you can see, they've got 113. They're not using their horror right now. So it might be a good idea not to go back right away to use your horror. Maybe if someone dies and then you go back, save it, have it ready. You can only have one horror at a time. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and use up my combo here in order to take those things out so they stop assaulting our base. So that means I don't have my burst damage for the next group of enemies, but I don't think it's going to matter. I'm going to go ahead and just shield myself now and go after this building. There we go. Now, Searing Attack has a pretty small cooldown, so using it like that, just constantly using it for certain objectives, is really not a big deal. I mean, you can see the damage that I'm just putting out right now against this tower by doing that. My team is engaging in a team fight at the top. I mean, it's something I want to be involved in, but I'm doing pretty well against these minions here. Now the downside of it being night, as you may see, is that none of the minion creeps are up, so we can't get any of the mercenaries. Alright, Ghost Wolf basic attack bonus increased. Let's go ahead and grab that. Okay. W1 Wolf. Just look at that damage. Nice. Alright, let's go ahead and get away from it. Looks like they've got an enemy plant there. Yeah, see, Nova here is wondering if they can have two at once. I can already tell you that they can't. If you get the plant, then the plant goes away. Like, if you go ahead and look at it, you can't see it here on my end, but the plant would actually be gone. There would just be a hole. And there you can see I'm trying to use my combination as effectively as I can. I basically pop my shield and then pop my wolf at the same time. Increasing the bonus damage that I can do at any given point is really the idea here for this build. Using the wolf every time it comes up is really what I should be doing, and I know I'm not really capitalizing on that. So there's been a few times where I've done a little less damage than I could have. Alright, it's daytime, so what I'm going to probably do is go ahead and go for this camp over here.
Take this mercenary camp.
Alright, let's go ahead and slow them down. I'm not going to worry about taking that camp. There's two of them there. It's a good thing I know they're there now, because they would have been able to come up behind me. Raynor kind of needs a little bit of help here. I got you, Raynor. Come on, Tyrael. What's the matter? Why run? Don't run from me. Team's doing pretty good, though. We got two guys with 10 kills and no deaths so far. I have a few less on me because I've been focusing on this lane. Alright, I'm going to go for the personal damage, I think, with Berserk. I'm going to go ahead and try that, because I really like the synergy that that has. I'm not going to go after this by myself. Just try and help some allies. The north here is getting pushed pretty hard. So now that everything's kind of been pushed to the keep there in the south, let's see if I can help out up here. We've got a Sergeant Hammer. My speed and burst is going to be very useful, I believe, for taking out that tank. Combine that with a Nova's burst here if Nova decides to come along. I think we're going to be great. Looks like Sergeant Hammer pulled back a bit. I did see Vala over here. Yep, there's Vala. Wolf up. Got her. Illidan. Healing. He's going after Abathur, but he's not going to be able to... Oh, he got Abathur, damn. Okay. Waiting for my... Alright, here we go. Oh man! I totally screwed the pooch on that one. I didn't think everyone was going to pull back. Everybody just kind of pulled away. Oh well. My own fault there. Unfortunately, it does mean I used up Bloodlust. I was hoping to take out Sergeant Hammer. But unfortunately, Sergeant Hammer had some friends in some very high places.
Kill the infested and claim their secrets.
Alright, so night cycle is going to happen in about 13 seconds here. We're kind of split up, so I'm really not sure what's going to happen here. They've been pushing top. They've done a good job with mid. Vala. Unfortunately, the help from Illidan. If I would have popped a few more things, I thought I was going to get her, and I panicked there in a way, is really what happens there. If I would have played that a little more coolly, would have activated my Berserk, as well as just made sure I kept my lightning shield up, I probably could have taken out Vala before Illidan took me out. So that's the downside. Illidan did use his sustained burst damage to take me out before I could kill Vala. I'm not playing very well right now, unfortunately. Not sure what they are doing. There goes Nova. Using the plant now may not be the best option. Well, we can use it, but we have to push. All right. You see the damage I just did to Lily there. And of course she's going to have that talent to make me miss. Lily is definitely the bane of my existence when it comes to one-hit massive damage. There's Bloodlust. And there's a dead Tyrael. Alright, try and heal up. Some allies there. Shield, Wolf. Oh, hit Illidan. I'm losing track of everything that's going on, unfortunately. I'm a plant and I'm gonna die. Yep. Get out of there, Hammer. Oh yes, nice. Very nice bait. Good job. Kept Illidan inside that damage area and just made sure that he died. That was a very nice move by Sergeant Hammer in combination with Nova. Enemy team is mostly ahead, at least when it comes to levels. When it comes to kills, we seem to be in the lead. Not that that's a big deal. Well, looks like Sergeant Hammer is down. They've lost the Horror, and Lily is getting away. This is really interesting. I mean, we are mostly a damage-dealing group. I'm a damage-dealing Rehgar. We've got Nabather. Then we've got the Assassins and Raynor and Nova, and of course Sergeant Hammer, which typically does a lot of auto-attack damage. So our strength is going to be in basically focusing down individual enemies, especially their more squishy ones. Taking down Illidan, Sergeant Hammer are going to be some of the easier ones to take out. Alright, we're pushing down against this Vala. I'm just going to wait before I go into wolf form. Got her. Unfortunately, she got Raynor before we could get her. Alright, we're not really staying grouped up too well. I'm honestly thinking I'm going to want to upgrade my Bloodlust. There we go. Get away, get away, get away, get away, get away, get away. Oh! At least it didn't kill me. But there I activated Searing and Berserk. We are pretty spread out most of the time. I think I'm going to go ahead and get War Shout. I really want to get Fury of the Storm because that 50% bounce of damage bounces off of my primary hit too. So if I hit for like 1,500 damage, half of that is going to 2 different enemies as well. So that could be useful in a group fight.
My servants rise. Rid them of their imperfect.
Alright, I'm going to get the War Shout because everybody is very segregated right now. Alright. We're going to push. Looks like everybody's going for the golem. Let's get a heal on Raynor. Sheesh, Raynor. You're taking a lot of damage there. I'm not exactly a healer. Well, I am, but I'm not spec'd for it. So I'll heal you as much as I can.
Become the pride of my garden.
Alright, both of us have a horror available. Alright, so I'll show here when the plant bursts out, you can see that the soil is open, so you can't use it twice. Ooh, 727, very nice.
Don't get too comfortable. The infested will return again.
I like to think that Raynor and Nova think that they're the only ones being useful this game. Considering I pushed the entire south lane down by myself for a while there. Alright, let's go ahead and pull away because Nova's going to try and do a bunch of damage to me. Let's see, or not Nova. See, this is what most people make a mistake of doing. They put the giant plant down in a fight with against players. That doesn't do anything against players. It only hurts... There we go. It only hurts structures. So to put that there is pretty much useless. Alright, let's go ahead and back away. My team is basically pushing in the middle, which is great. I can try and push up here to distract them. We've got our plant pushing into the south, which honestly the plant doesn't really do a lot without allied help because it doesn't hit allied or enemy heroes that hard. It just disables them by using its AoE. Oh, Raynor's gonna die. Alright, I need to pull out of here apparently. I'm actually going to pull out because two of us are dead. The third one, Nova, is here. Abathur is holding in the south. Let's go after Illidan. Oh, apparently didn't need it.
Kill confirmed.
Alright. Let's back off a bit. I don't want to do this without help. Been holding on to my Bloodlust. I probably should have used it when we were both split pushing. Enemy team has one more horror they could unleash upon us, but I really just don't think it's going to be that useful to them at the moment. They want to wait until all their guys are up and then push with it.
I hate to say it, but your enemy has spawned a terror first.
Let's attack their core.
Admitted, you enjoyed that.
The safe wager.
Yeah.
Alright, sorry, a bit of background noise there I had to deal with. Sergeant Hammer is really not going to get away. Abathur actually getting the kill, which was kind of neat. Oh no. Come on, come on. Alright, I gotta catch up to her. She can't run very fast unless she takes damage, but she can keep healing herself, which is the thing that sucks, and she can stop me from doing damage. Abathur on me, though, should help. Got her! A lot of help from Abathur on that one, really. Alright, let's just clear this line up. Actually, no, don't return. Just go help these guys out. $905. Nice. Oh, I'm stuck. Ow. Thank you, Abathur. Good job, guys. Let's go. They're barely using their golem. And they're not using it effectively, so that's really going to be to our benefit. Alright, Vala.
My plans are fine.
Got it. Excellent. And they got material, which is great. Uh-oh. Bloodlust. Oh yeah, look at that attack speed. Look at that attack speed! Alright, I gotta go back. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it this time to kind of show off what it's like. I'm going to heal up a bit first because I don't want to be knocked out of it with low health.
I smell their feet.
Or not! We win! Excellent job. Honestly, I think everybody did really good.
Victory.
Even if a couple guys wanted to think they were more equal than others. But that's okay. Honestly, I don't begrudge them that. You know, if you don't see what's happening in other lanes, then you really don't know. And it's an easy assumption to make. But overall, that was a pretty good game, and you can kind of see where the strengths of damage-dealing Rehgar lies. Got my hero award, got my 500 gold. Got my level. Now, next reward, I will get a portrait to be able to use up here in the upper right-hand corner. Should I decide to use it? I might. We'll see. I have a Vala portrait, but I don't have Vala unlocked. That's pretty funny. And I have my daily quest here as well you can actually look at while I'm in the post-match screen to see what else I can do. So I've got warrior and assassin heroes that I can play in order to get a bit more gold. But there you go. That was a really good match, honestly. Now, I know I didn't play him optimally. I mean, there were definitely a few parts there where I just did not make the right moves, did not use the right rotation. Part of it is, of course, me not being used to having those abilities because I don't normally play with them. But at the same time, also, I tend to kind of seize up a little bit when I get in a little bit of a panic about, okay, I'm about to die, what do I do? And I end up either hitting the wrong thing or forgetting to hit something. And it happens. You know, that's something that definitely becomes less stressful as you get used to a hero and a game in general. But it's just something that still hits me. And I fully acknowledge it. But overall, I mean, we can take a look. That wasn't too bad. 21 takedowns to 3 deaths. So, I mean, that's pretty average for the team. Also did really well with the mechanics as well, picking up 154 of the seeds. So I apologize that I didn't really get to show you guys a little bit of the terror and how he operates. But I think you got to see him a little bit and see a little bit of what he's like. Again, people tend to use him a little incorrectly. The Q button is the first ability that puts a small AoE on the ground that debuffs heroes, and that's what you want to use in team fights and against heroes because it makes them do a lot less damage. And then the big one on the W key is only useful against buildings, and people put it down in team fights. Now, you don't have mana as the horror, so it's really not a big deal. And I think maybe some people do it to put another target down on the ground, but I think some people actually think it hurts people or does some kind of debuff to heroes, when really it's just against buildings. It can be destroyed, so if you're going to be using it tactfully, you want to try and put it in a position where either they have to pull away from you to damage it, or you can even put it behind yourself so they can't get to it very easily, so you can keep the enemy buildings debuffed. You usually don't want to put it just out in the open somewhere where the enemy team can hit it and take it out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was damage-based Rehgar in Heroes of the Storm. Thanks for coming by and watching. I'll see you next time.